Welcome to Tapped In. My name is David Figueroa-Martinez of DFM Coaching, and today we're going to be discussing fixing your game through leverage points, and that's going to sound a little weird. So when we are building a game or repairing a game, or you're just in that early stage, let's say blue belt, you can get to a point where you feel like you have so many things to fix that it gets overwhelming. I think it's one of the reasons why we have so many people who quit at blue belt. It's not the belt itself. I think that at white belt, you understand you don't know anything. So you're used to feeling like everything needs to be fixed. By the time you get to blue, you're starting to get a little bit of confidence and you're starting to feel yourself a little. And then while you're there, you also at some point realize how much more there is to fix. And it's like reaching the summit of one hill or small mountain and looking at everything you put into getting to that point, and then looking up at the next summit, which is purple, and realize I got all of that to go through to reach that summit. And that can get daunting for people. And looking at your game and finding all these different holes and gaps, gray areas and unfinished projects and unfinished skill sets, again, it's really easy to feel like you're overwhelmed and you don't have enough time to fix everything, and you don't. There are parts of my game right now, 14 years in, that I have half finished projects on. Like, I don't do great with footlocks. I don't have a great system for leg attacks. I don't have a great lapel game, not that I need one, but I have aspects of the game in me that are not completely finished or not at an A level. And that's fine. The quicker you understand that not everything about your game is going to be there, the easier it is to kind of allow certain things to just sit and, hey, I'm going to fix that later. So when we're looking at our games, you do not want to get into that mindset, I have to fix everything. That creates anxiety. It can create paralysis. It can make you feel like you're always behind and that you're not making enough progress. You cannot, and I'm going to say this one more time, you cannot fix everything in your game. You won't. What your skill set is going to be is, one, pushing some of the flaws that don't need to be fixed just yet aside, and then focusing on the things that really jump at you, the things that are like code red. These things are huge problems. I'm finding myself in these issues constantly. We're going to fix those things that we want to fix. So don't focus on everything. You're going to get burned out. You're going to feel like you're juggling too many things at once. Try to focus on what are the top 2 to 3. Entering that, let's focus on having more of a leverage mindset. In the sense, what I mean by that is leverage points are skills or habits that impact multiple facets of your game. If you have, let's say you have a habit of beating yourself up when you get swept or you make a mistake, that is a huge leverage point that you need to fix, or you can spend time fixing, because one, it doesn't need a skill set. It doesn't need a technique. It doesn't need anything jiu-jitsu related. It is a mental approach that you're suffering from that needs a little bit of TLC or a little bit of focus. When let's say when I was a white belt, there were times when I would get swept and I would curse at myself like, fuck, I can't believe I did that as I'm being swept. So then I would get swept and get to the bottom position. They would secure top position. And I'm still kicking myself about the problem or the mistake that I made. Does nothing for you. What you want to do is, I'm being swept. I've made a mistake. In being swept, how do I address what's going to come next? I can start formulating a post. Maybe I don't hit the mat. Maybe my back never touches the mat and I can get right back up. Negates the sweep. Maybe if I can't do that, I start formulating a guard right away so that now they're not in a position where they have dominant position and they can drive their weight on me. I now have a guard. I could start sweeping back. That's the mind shift that is going to benefit so many facets of your jiu-jitsu, but we can sometimes forget or ignore. That's a leverage point, because if I can frame my mindset to understand that my failure isn't a failure, it's just a mistake I made, brush it off. We have to get to work immediately or this is going to get worse. It's going to translate to everything else you start doing. You're going to start seeing windows in which you can respond to things faster and with more intent, that then makes jiu-jitsu a little bit easier. The biggest hurdles that I find, like I have a blue belt who's in the military. Sometimes I find this with wrestlers as well. People who have like this never die attitude, no matter what position you put them in, they're constantly coming forward. They create so much mental and physical pressure that it puts you almost on your heels sometimes. So if we can create that, their jiu-jitsu isn't on par with mine, but because they're so intent focused and never say die attitude, they don't give up no matter what. Jiu-jitsu gets a little tougher for me, a little easier for them, because that attitude alone masks some of the other gaps that they might have in their training. So if we can find the leverage points, another one is, let's say, hand fight. Quite a few students do not hand fight enough. They allow their opponent to get grips that they should not have earned. They allow their opponent to keep grips that they should not keep. We also don't hand fight enough for our own grips. And we're so playing guard or playing off the back that we're willing accomplices to the issue at hand. So if we can learn how to hand fight from start, we slap hands, bump hands, whatever. And if we can learn how to hand fight from that position, it literally opens up your jiu-jitsu in a whole different facet. You learn how to hand fight from that start. You know how to hand fight from standing. You'll learn how to hand fight from half. You'll learn how to hand fight from mount. You'll learn how to hand fight from close guard. The hand fight is such a crucial leverage point that it can make or break your experience in jiu-jitsu. If I can hand fight with you well enough, your guard passing starts to shrink, because what's something that you need to guard pass? An anchor, a grab of the pants, a grab of the collar, sleeve, collar grip. All these things are part of hand fighting. So if I can get really good at hand fighting, my guard retention gets better. My ability to get into the guards that I want to get into gets better. My ability to initiate sweeps gets better. So this is a massive leverage point that you can start incorporating into your game. Understand what your game is and see what other leverage points can be defined or enhanced so that your game starts to get better on the back end of those things. They don't have to be super specific. Like someone who's having an issue having their guard pass in a specific way. It doesn't, oftentimes it's not like they keep passing my guard with the knee cut. It's not necessarily the position that you need help with. Sometimes it's the stuff that led to the position, which in this case is the hand fighting. So if we can hand fight really well, there's a good chance they don't get to the knee cut. Should we have answers for the knee cut? Yes. But oftentimes it's these general instances that lead to the specific issues that we're having that we're ignoring. So for me, I tend to ask what habit is sabotaging me across multiple roles or positions. It might be that I'm being put on my back. So why am I being put on my back? Am I willingly going there before they force me, or are they actually forcing me onto my back? And in most cases with students that I've found is that sometimes we just flail there. We're in a position that kind of puts us halfway there and we just accept. And then we start playing guard and our guard's not that great, but we're in a position where it's like, oh, we're playing jiu-jitsu. This is what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to be on our back. So if you can leverage the mentality of my back is not touching the ground, other things start to materialize and get better for you, because now you've made the intentful decision. I am not playing off my back unless I absolutely have to. Changes things. That's a massive leverage point. I highly suggest watching footage of yourself, breaking it down, having someone break it down for you. It's something that I do for students. You can see habits that you keep making across the board, whether it's I keep doing this with all the guard passers, I keep doing this with all the more experienced players, I keep doing this with this specific person. Either way, you'll find those habits, you'll be able to see them, and you can have someone break that down for you so that this is the answer that you should be doing. This is the thing that you should be striving to do, opposed to whatever you've been doing. Journaling helps quite a bit, because if you can get off the mat and then write down what you remember happening, you can ask better questions. Sometimes in the moment, things don't come to us. But again, if you can get your stuff recorded on occasion, it's a massive benefit. So again, this isn't about fixing 10 to 15 different things. There are many things that I've been having issues with since I was a blue belt, and I just haven't gotten around to fixing them. But that's what the journey is about. And your job is just to fix the major things, the things you come across most, fix how what your mental approach is to certain things. If you beat yourself up, if you talk negatively about yourself, that's a huge leverage point that needs to be addressed. If you're someone that goes to your back quite often without being forced there, that's a massive leverage point. If you're someone that doesn't hand fight enough, another massive leverage point. And these things will highlight your skill sets and kind of hide some of the things maybe that you don't do as well, that you don't have time to address. So it's not about having or fixing 10 to 15 things. It's about fixing 3 to 5 general things that then allow you to fix some of the smaller things. That makes sense. If you need help with this, if you have questions on this topic or anything else, hit me up, dfm.2099 on Instagram and Threads. If you'd like to work with me, seminars, workshops, private lessons, dfmcoaching.com. Again, thank you so much.